Cool.
Sorry for the absolute mess, but yeah.
You're fine. Oh my gosh, it is David. It's
Hey,
crazy to actually see you on here.
yeah, man. It's good to see you.
Yeah, I wasn't expecting you to actually respond to that email, but here we are. Thank you.
Sure, yeah. I'm happy to help students whenever.
Yeah. So I guess we'll just start with your name, your job title, um, and the company you work for.
Hang on one sec. I just remembered is this going on anything? Or just audio?
Uh, it's just going on my
Oh, there we go.
It's just
That's all
for
I
an
needed.
assignment. Yeah.
Okay, there we're good. So what was your question? Sorry.
Yeah, your job title, your name, the name of the company that you work for, and how long you've been working in the field.
Yeah, my name's David Ian Howe. I work for myself, my own LLC company. It's Howe and Y Productions is what it's called. But Howe, like my last name. And then I guess technically I'm like, if the IRS is asking, I'm the director of it. But like my job title is archaeologist. That's usually what I go by. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, I noticed you do all kinds of stuff because I follow you on YouTube. Um,
Oh, okay.
I just saw a video that you posted not too long ago. You found like a 13,000-year-old bone needle. Is that right?
Yeah, I didn't personally find it. Like a friend of mine had dug it up, but I was on
Yeah,
the whole team finds it essentially.
that is
Yeah.
so cool.
Yeah,
Um,
super cool.
yeah, I'll bring that up more later, but yes, so I'm sorry, I don't know if you just answered this, but how many years in the field have you been working as an
Oh, sorry.
archaeologist?
Um, I guess you could say I've been in it since college. I started in like 2012, really like getting into the field. That was like my junior year,
Okay.
but I graduated college in 2014 and then 2017 I got my master's and then from there on I've been like full-time like archaeology. Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, and I've
Where
had
did
many
you?
jobs in between then. Sorry. But
Okay, no, you're good.
yeah.
What field school did you go to?
Yeah, I went to it was to the University of Tennessee. It was the Bells Bend Archaeological Park project in Nashville, Tennessee. And it was just like a Metro Nashville park that has like a nice river on it or in it, and like
Uh-huh.
just the river was just full of Mississippian sites, and we were digging those out.
Wow. Um,
Yeah,
how long was your field school? How long did it last?
I think roughly a month, I think is like how a field school usually goes. It might have been like 3.5 weeks, or it might have been 4.5 weeks, but a month. Yeah,
Okay.
yeah.
So how did you get into like that transition of doing Mississippi sites to doing Ice Age sites?
Yeah. The very first site I worked on was an Ice Age site in South Carolina.
Okay.
I should add that. I did that like an internship before my field school.
Okay.
And that was the Topper site in South Carolina,
Oh,
and
neat.
that is like an Ice Age quarry.
Mhm.
Um, but yeah, UT's program is more like forensic based, physical based. But my archaeology professor there is very involved in paleo, and I ended up going to grad school for paleo.
Hmm.
And the field school I was on had Mississippian sites, I'd say predominantly, but there was a few early Holocene sites there too that we were checking to see if they were paleo as well.
Wow,
Yeah.
that is super cool.
Yeah.
Um, yeah, so what type of education or training certifications that you received to get the job that you have now?
Yeah. Had my I dual majored in history and anthropology in college. And then because I
Mhm.
started as history and then anthropology interested me more, but I had taken so many history classes, I might as well just dual major it.
Yeah.
Um, and then let's see. Certification wise, I mean, I got my master's in 2017, did a lot of field work for my master's. And then I got my RPA, which is your registered professional archaeologist certificate, which is mainly just like a organization you join. It's not really like a license or anything. Um, but
Okay.
you have to have done a master's thesis or like done an X amount of field work to get that. So that would be my certification.
Okay.
Yeah.
So do all field technicians have to receive an RPA?
You don't have to. It's kind of like I'm assuming you're familiar with anthropology. It sounds like you are in a way.
Yeah, I have some background knowledge because I follow it on YouTube.
Oh, okay. Yeah,
Hmm.
there's the SAA, which is the Society for American Archaeology.
Okay,
That's
I've
like
heard
the
of that.
main
Hmm.
yearly conference that everyone is a part of.
Yeah.
And then branched off of that is the RPA, which is the Registered Professional Archaeologists. And that's one that like I don't want to say it's a title that you buy, but it does award you like certain like protections and like access to more journals and things like that. And
Mm.
yeah, it's just another organization to meet other archaeologists and collaborate. But yeah, I would say like mainly my certifications are just like I have an advanced degree in archaeology, and then I worked for a vet program for a long time with the Army Corps of Engineers. Had to do a lot of certifications for that,
Hmm.
and then was a curator essentially. And like I kind of was a teacher, but also boss at the same time because it was like a lab.
Uh-huh.
And we would hire vets to do archaeological lab work with archaeological collections from the Army Corps of Engineers land. So,
I see.
yeah, basically anything that came out of Army Corps of Engineers, usually dams or like river sheds, anything that came out of that went to my lab, and then I had them like do all the curational work and then or curational
Oh,
work. And so no certifications for that really, but that's like my
yeah.
firm professional background is that. Yeah.
Okay. Interesting. Thanks for
Yeah.
sharing that.
No problem.
Yeah, so that brings me to like my next question. Why and how did you get into archaeology in the first place?
Yeah, I never know what answer to give. There's a million reasons I did. I just found it so interesting
Uh-huh.
as a kid because I loved Greece and Rome and all that in Egypt.
Mhm.
But then when I took anthropology classes in college, as part of like my gen eds when I was taking history,
Mhm.
my anthropology class was like a four field 101 course. And that had primatology and then human evolution and archaeology
Ooh.
and forensics and cultural anthropology, and I was like, this is what I want to do.
Yeah,
And I would say that was like the moment. And I don't know if you're familiar with Dave Chappelle in any way, but
a little bit. Yeah.
know the name, yeah. The very first day of anthropology class, she had us watch the first skit from his first episode, which I don't know if you need this or not, but you can cut it out if you have to.
No,
But
it's
it
all
was the
good.
okay.
Go
The
ahead.
blind white supremacist skit that he has, where he was a black guy in the Klan. We had to watch that as like this huge lecture hall had to watch it and then have a
Uh-huh.
discussion as to why is this funny? Um, and like that led us into anthropology and culture and then race. And then like from there, she opens up the course to like, this is anthropology. And like, I was like, whoa, this is so cool.
Wow,
Um,
that's interesting. That's a great way to start the class.
It really was, yeah, because it was fascinating the way she led into other things, and then like it was like and then it's how we define culture, and then it's how we define like social norms and things, and
Yeah.
but that's more anthropology, archaeology. I liked the the hands-on digging stuff out of the ground, being in the
Uh-huh.
lab, seeing the artifacts, and just if you touch a stone tool, you're like, this is cool, and you want to keep
Yes,
doing. It.
definitely.
Yeah, yeah.
Um, so yeah, I guess that brings me into my next question. What are things you enjoy about the job?
Yeah. I mean, my current job, I never know how to say it. Like if I'm a content creator, I'm an archaeologist or a YouTuber, whatever. Sure, most people struggle finding a title for that.
Yeah.
Just I just say archaeologist, but doing like the content creation and the online education, I would say, in the social media space is like
Hmm.
I thoroughly enjoy it. And I got this from my last job when I was like teaching, adults that have like children, not just like college students, like about archaeology and seeing
Yeah.
things click in their head.
Hmm.
And then when they would ask me questions that weren't like, not to say dumb questions, but like not like a lecture hall, like it was just like a
Yeah.
pragmatic, why am I doing it this way? And I would have to like kind of stop and think and be like, why
Uh-huh.
do we do it that way? Let me
Yeah.
explain this. And then
Hmm.
I like learning from my students, and I like one asked me, could you explain evolution to me? Because I had been talking about it and for some it came up, and then I like explained it to her and she was like, wow, no one's ever like explained it to me that way. And I was like, yeah, it's like it's a super complex topic that gets shoved down into like a one sentence thing in a book.
Yeah.
And it's hard to learn. So that, and then when people like I like seeing the light click in their head, and then like when I'm lecturing to like it's kind of like stand up, like um the audience is like your barometer, right? So how you're doing, and if you see people sleeping, clearly you need to step up your game a little bit. But
Uh-huh.
like some people are just tired in class, but other times I see people engaged and laughing and like learning. That's just such a good feeling. And through Instagram, which is my biggest platform, I'd say,
Hmm.
that is just like when people comment and like I didn't know that, or like, dude, thank you so much. I didn't like just that kind of stuff, if that makes sense. Just
Yeah,
like
yeah, I hear you.
direct comments that they learned something. Yeah.
So how long have you been doing the online teaching for? Like on Instagram, YouTube?
Yeah, pre-COVID, so 2018, I think, is when I started my account.
Oh,
And
okay.
then like 2021, I quit my job to do it full time because it was just taking up it's just so much to work.
Yeah.
Um, so it just kind of like it's always been my job, and I had that other job as my day job on the side, if that makes sense. And then I didn't want to
Yeah.
just do two jobs at once. And then uh yeah, so I'd say what is that, 5 years now? No, 6, 7 years. Dang.
Oh,
Yeah.
wow. Um, no, I think you're doing a great job with your content, man. Like
Thanks, dude.
I feel like I've learned a lot just from watching your videos and listening to your podcasts.
Oh, cool. I appreciate. And you
Yeah.
found me through YouTube?
I did, yeah.
Oh, that's really cool.
Yeah.
Okay. YouTube
Um,
is like the frontier for me. I haven't really put too much effort into it until this year. So
oh, okay.
it's good to hear.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's good to watch you and Donnie Dust. You guys are like both like my inspiration almost.
Yeah.
Like idols when it comes to anthropology. Yeah.
Oh, I appreciate that, man.
Yeah.
He's
Um
one of the most like friendly and like chill dudes I've ever met. He's like 6'7" though.
oh wow, he's that tall.
Like I have to
Okay.
like look up. Anyway,
I
I cut you off, but
didn't realize he
yeah,
was that tall. Wow. Okay.
he's a big dude.
Anyways, yeah. So what are areas that are stressful about the job?
Um, money.
Money,
Uh,
yeah. Is it job security? I feel like that's like the biggest complaint I hear
in
from.
archaeology,
Yeah.
it depends on what you're doing. Like let's say like 4 years ago, I would tell you getting a federal job was like cushy. You're good to go. You get a pension.
Yeah.
Now, working for the Park Service, like my friend just got fired, so it's like,
Oh,
um, and like archaeology falls under the Department of the Environment. So,
yeah.
like, not to get political in any regard, but just like, it's just something that's been happening. So, job security there for some archaeologists is rough.
Hmm.
The internet could shut off tomorrow, and then, like, I'm screwed
Mm.
because then
Oh
my
man.
income goes away.
Yeah.
But in terms of like steady, if I wanted to go back, and sometimes I did this 2 years ago. I went and just did field work for a bit because I just wanted to get back in the field.
Hmm.
You can work for different contract companies and do cultural resource management. Um,
Hmm.
and that's either surveying or excavating or watching construction. But I guess to give you a firm, the what was the how'd you word the question? Sorry,
Oh, it's
hardest
just
part.
like what areas of the job are stressful?
Yeah. Stressful on social media, I would say, is like my daily stressor. Am I saying the right thing? Did I word this correctly? Is it offensive? Because like sometimes I try to be funny. And
Mhm.
like I mean, not that I try to be funny, I just like it's how I talk. And
Yeah.
then sometimes, especially when I'm podcasting, it's like, oh, better let me cut that. And then like I have to be pretty good because it's anthropology is very culturally sensitive
Hmm.
topic. So
Yeah.
I want to say things, but then as like a white dude, it's like I got to be careful how I phrase things, and like people do listen to me to learn, and I want to make sure I'm doing it the right way. I'm not misquoting something, and that doesn't have to
Hmm.
do with being a white dude, but yeah, especially if I'm talking about something like colonization, which is obviously a huge aspect of anthropology.
Yeah.
That stuff does get stressful, but it's also a learning opportunity, so I like that. Yeah,
Awesome answer. Yeah.
yeah.
So what are things you wish you had known when you were starting out?
Um, let's see.
Sorry to throw the big question at you.
No, these are good questions people need to know.
Yeah.
Let's see. I took a astronomy class as one of my gen ed science classes in undergrad because I wanted to do like Mayan archaeology, and I was like, oh, if I know like astronomy, I can like, that'll match. And then that was so stupid.
Yeah.
I should have done geology, should have been so
Mhm.
much more helpful, or biology or something.
Okay.
Something more tangible. Um,
Hmm.
but yeah, just like in school, I was so caught, and I think this is I wouldn't say a problem with academia, but it's just the environment. Like it's so competitive because you're around other smart people that, especially in graduate school, you're like past the undergrad stage where everyone's in college. And then you're
Yeah.
in a school where all of you want to study the same thing. You're there, you show up every day to learn and discuss this one subject.
Mm.
And in like environment, it's so competitive because you're like, I want to get funding. Like, I don't want to get fired. I want the professor to like me. I want to be on papers. And like,
Yeah.
a lot of that's just in your head. Um, and I wish I had like just taken a breath sometimes. Um,
Yeah. It's just like anxiety, right? Pretty much.
Anxiety and imposter syndrome, I would say, like,
Imposter syndrome. Yeah, that's the word. Okay. Yeah.
yeah, which causes anxiety. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. No,
So,
no bueno on that. Yeah.
no bueno. So speaking of that, studying a foreign language definitely has helped me in a lot. I speak Spanish fluently, so it's like
Oh, good.
super helpful, especially reading stuff about like Mexican and Aztec and uh like reading
Interesting.
Columbus's journals right now too. And I tried to find like a Spanish translation of it, which is
Oh, that's smart. I like that. I like that
yeah.
method. Um, so yeah, speaking of that, while we're on the topic of like language, because I'm taking Spanish in college right now, is there any like tips you have for like language learning? Like how
Uh
to like do it right? Like how to yeah, how to get there, you know?
Professionally, unprofessionally, I would say date somebody that speaks the language. That's the quickest way to learn it.
I
Um,
like that advice.
if not date somebody, at least speak with somebody every day and like just
Okay.
try. Um, and then I used to be afraid of, I mean, when you're arguing with your girlfriend about something, you have to learn it.
Do
But
you speak from experience on this?
yeah, it's
Okay.
yeah. Um,
Yeah.
that helped because I like culture and I wanted to know more about her family and like
Yeah.
two other exes of mine had spoken different languages and like that always I wanted to be included in the convo, so I would at least pick up on syntax and grammar. Like one of them was Chinese, and it was like I can't understand Mandarin, but I like
Hmm.
understand when a question is being asked, like syntax and shit like that.
Yeah.
Um, but officially, I would say watch. Like I rewatched Game of Thrones recently with the Spanish dubbing over it.
Oh,
Um,
okay.
and sometimes I'll put the English subtitles on just in case I'm totally confused. But the
Uh,
Spanish one and just try to read or do as much things in Spanish as you can. And
yeah.
eventually, especially with algorithms like my TikTok, and my Instagram just sends me stuff in Spanish now. Like I don't have to look for it.
Uh-huh.
And
Wow.
it slowly starts to learn like, oh, you do spend time reading this, and yeah,
Oh, interesting.
yeah. And you had a question before that, and I went on a whole tangent. Sorry.
Honestly, I kind of forgot what that was. I
Oh,
think it had to do with how many, yeah, how many years like have you been learning Spanish? Or yeah, until you got to that point of fluency.
yeah, and I should say fluent with an asterisk. Like I can, if you drop me in Mexico or Spain, I can get around just fine.
Yeah,
Um,
I think that counts. Yeah.
yeah, but I took in high school I took it, and then in college I took like upper level Spanish courses because it was my minor.
Yeah.
So I was taking like you would take an English grammar and like writing class. I took Spanish ones, which
Okay.
was really difficult because I wasn't like fully, you know, I didn't know the language that well yet. But and you're learning like basically writing papers in Spanish or like
Yeah.
essays. And I would force yourself to try that because then you can at least write and you can think in that way.
Yeah.
Um,
That's a good tip.
yeah, for sure. But the best way, especially with social media, man, it's just so easy to just kind of train your feed to be Spanish a little bit, and then like you'll
Mhm.
like even just reading a meme, you're like, oh, okay, and like especially
I
dog
get
memes.
that. Yeah.
Yeah.
Interesting.
Um,
Yeah.
and I think you had asked things I wish I had done differently. Um,
Or yeah, things you wish you had known when you were starting out. That could be anything.
yeah. I would, yeah, the toning down the not your anxiety, but like it's gonna be okay, and like
Uh-huh.
focusing like worrying about what other people think, or like when you're in the academic worrying like you're not as smart as other people like that. Everyone has that, so like just I wish I could have just shoved that to the side. Um, but
Uh-huh.
also I would say take excellent notes. Because there's so many good discussions we had in class and in grad school you take you do seminar courses where you all sit around in a circle and like discuss the readings and stuff. And
Yeah.
sometimes we would sit around and discuss it and I wouldn't write because I was so like involved in the discussion, or maybe I wasn't even paying attention.
Uh-huh.
One day doing my taxes on my computer. Uh, but when I
Yeah.
go to make videos now or like make posts on Instagram, I'm like, I know we talked about this, and I'll go search my notes and I don't have it. And like, I wish I
Mm.
had just kept more notes. And in to segue from that too, like write your papers and write your notes kind of like your when you're doing your reading notes or readings, write it in the like maybe you want a YouTube video this or you want to make a post about it because that's
Yeah.
like how I retain information, so you might as well write it that way.
Okay, so pretty much like just write it down. Yeah.
Yeah, and then the best way you can organize it. Yeah.
All right. Um, cool. Yeah, these are good tips, good advice, man. I appreciate it.
Yeah,
Um, and then that
and I
brings
got
me.
plenty of time too if you have more questions.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I'm in no
Awesome.
rush.
Yeah. And I guess like my last big question for this assignment is there any advice that you would like to give to someone like me as a student, such as how one can get the best experience to prepare me for a career in anthropology or in this particular field within anthropology?
Yeah.
Sorry, that was kind of
Um,
a lot.
like best advice to get into the
Yeah.
field of anthropology.
Yes. Yeah.
Mm, be open-minded. That's I don't want to lose track of what I'm saying, but I had a professor explain the heart of anthropology is like if you have Somali neighbors move across the street from you, do you
Uh,
want to be the American that like peeks through the blinds that's like, what are they doing? Or like, are you gonna be the American that
uh,
opens up the blinds and you're like, I should have them over for dinner because I want to learn more about
uh,
them? And that just like clicked, and I was like, oh, that is the way to like view the world. You
that
be less
is. That really
scared and
is. I like that.
yeah,
Wow.
yeah.
Never thought about it like
Um,
that. Okay.
yeah, exactly. So it's like I just wish most people would think that way.
Okay.
So just go into that um with everything. Like even so grad school teaches you um how to critically think, right? So when you're reading stuff and you're supposed to form an argument, and like I'm sure you do this with rhetoric and English and in college and stuff, but like
Hmm.
to develop an argument and stuff like that. Um, Learning to like write papers that way when you're, how would I say this? Like there's always another version of something. Like you can have one opinion on something once you read a paper, or like try to consider it from the other person's perspective or opinion. And I
Yeah.
think that's a really important part of anthropology. Um, just going in with that headspace. But then professionally, I would say just be friendly with everybody. Most
Mhm.
opportunities I have had, either job wise or like going on podcasts and stuff like that, is just from people I know being like, hey, this job's open, or like, would you be
Yeah.
interested?
Hmm.
And like, I've seen people just completely burn bridges with other like colleagues over like nothing.
Oh wow.
Um, and I was always like, why are you like that? Like, don't do that.
Yeah.
So yeah, don't burn bridges. Be kind and just like make friends with people. Like that's what you're here for.
Just keep it cool. Okay.
Yeah.
Cool with everybody. Yeah, I like that. Simple yet powerful advice. Yes. Um,
Yeah.
is there like any like as far as like field schools, internships, um, that like you recommend or like
Yeah.
anything to get like experience? Where can I find experience?
Um, this I think they're still doing it. I did the internship at the museum, American Museum of Natural History in New York.
Oh,
Um,
cool.
and that was fun. It was unpaid, which sucked because you had to be in New York unpaid.
Ah,
Um,
darn. Wow, yeah, they're pretty
but
expensive there too, aren't they? That makes it
it is.
worse.
But
Yeah.
the cool part of it was it's really good on your resume. You get to see how a big museum like that works. You're in New York City. You're seeing people like come in and out every day. You have to walk through the museum to get to the office.
For
Um,
sure.
but they give you a pass that like you can go to any museum in New York for free. Like you just wave your pass,
Oh
and
wow.
like I spent every day off I had just like going to a different museum, and like I hit all the museums in New York. Well, not all of them, but like a couple dozen. Like I had a
That's
lot.
pretty neat.
Yeah, that was really fun. Um, so that's like a pretty like I wouldn't say rare one. I don't know too many people that did that one, but any internships I can think of, anything right now, I think media wise you could do, or like writing for a social media company, doing research for something like that, or like someone like Stefan Milo. He's a good friend of mine. I know he like hires people to do writing sometimes.
Oh, cool. Yeah, I
Um,
like his videos too.
yeah, a lot of people like that will like put out, calls for like people that they need help with. And like if I had the money, I would definitely take interns.
Yeah.
But yeah, YouTubers and stuff like that. But was your question internships? I'm sorry, I went on a tangent.
Or no, no, it wasn't like just specifically internships. I was just like asking like in general, like, oh, what else is out there to get like experience, pretty much.
Yeah.
But
Um, Volunteering on digs. You can find that on Shovel Bums a lot. Check it out on Facebook. Your local, this is something that most people don't know. There's always like a
uh-huh,
local archaeology group or archaeology chapter in your town or at
uh-huh.
least your state. It's usually older people that like just are bored and retired and want to do
I
something.
I have noticed that, yeah.
Yeah, but
There's
they
one
love it
here.
when a younger
Yeah.
guy gets there. Um, so, but those people know digs. They know people and like they've worked with other archaeologists and know other people and like they often do site tours or like just
Okay.
depends on the chapter and how much money the chapter has or like the organization.
Yeah.
But those are like pretty untapped resources, I think, sometimes.
Huh.
Because I learned how to dig from some old British dude who wasn't an archaeologist. He just was a volunteer.
Oh,
Um,
really? Oh, wow.
yeah. And I was like, this guy's cool. Um,
Yeah.
yeah.
Um, yeah, because I there is one chapter here in Ohio. I'm located in Ohio.
Cool.
But yeah, I think where I'm heading towards, because like I really want to find like a paleo site here. I think that'd be really cool.
Sure.
Um, but yeah, I mean, do you have any like advice for someone? who wants to be like in charge of running a dig site? Like where to go
Um,
from there?
yeah, so to be in charge of running it, it just depends. There's like academic archaeology and then there's cultural resource management.
Hmm.
Academic archaeology, you kind of need a PhD to like, get funding from the NSF or Nat Geo or the
Okay.
school and like grant writing and all that.
Hmm.
To do that kind of dig for like a professional, like, cultural resource management dig, that's just working for a company.
Hmm.
Paleo West is a big one that does paleo, but they do a lot of stuff too. Big environmental firms are always digging up sites. But to run your own site, yeah, that would be like you at least need a master's.
Okay.
Because you have to, and that would be my advice to any person interested in archaeology, anthropology. Like, you don't have to get your PhD. I think that's kind of outdated now,
Okay.
unless you want to become a professor and teach. But like every opportunity I've had has come from my master's. Um,
Masters, got it.
because it's just that one more tier of like specializing your knowledge and the connections of kind of like I
Yeah.
said, everyone in that classroom is there to learn that. Um,
Okay.
yeah,
All right. Yeah.
yeah.
Um, yeah, I'm getting my associates this fall, so I'm pretty stoked about that.
Hell yeah,
Um,
man.
trying to get my bachelor's. That's the next goal. Um,
Yeah.
and I'm doing my first experience in field school this summer. So
Where at?
I'm looking forward to it. Lawrenceburg, Indiana.
Okay. And is
It's
that with,
this organization called ARI, the Archaeological Research Institute.
I think
Yeah.
I've heard of them. Yeah.
Yeah, they do public
Oh,
archaeology. They're not like a private firm, but
sure.
yeah,
Awesome, man.
I'm pretty excited to, I think they're focusing on what culture is it? Yeah, a fort ancient culture. Yeah. I think that's
Okay. Yeah, that's in Ohio.
woodland period. Yeah. Hmm.
Oh, hi. My friend lives in, he's Neolithic Nomad on YouTube and Instagram. But he's a stone tool guy. He's friends with Donnie and I. He lives in Logan, Ohio, just right outside, not Columbus. It's outside.
Logan.
I want to say maybe it's outside Columbus.
I
It's
feel
near
like it's in,
Lancaster.
oh, okay, yeah, like Eastern Ohio somewhere.
Yeah, it's really out in the country.
I see.
But yeah, he's got paleo sites all over there. Like he found a Clovis point in his front yard.
Oh, wow.
Um, but he takes me to the spring nap in that's at it's
Coshocton?
usually in Coshocton. Yeah.
I'm gonna
Um,
try to go to that this spring.
definitely
Yeah.
definitely go to that. That was my next advice. I won't be able to make it this year, but I'll make sure you meet up with him. Excellent guy, but just sitting around those old dudes who flint nap, you hear so many stories, and they're gonna be like,
Really?
"Oh, archaeologists think they're so smart," but like, it's at least it's part of being an anthropologist to me too, is like sitting there and just like taking that shit and like listening to them, but
Yeah.
also learning from them because they're actually making the stone tools and like they know what they're doing. Yeah,
Yeah, yeah. I love experimental archaeology. Like I
yeah, you'll
love
love it.
I love all of that. Like bushcraft, all of that stuff. I love it. Um,
Nice.
if I could get a job that has anything to do with that, I would be set. I'd be happy.
Yeah.
That'd
So
be awesome.
you might really enjoy, man. Like so in archaeology, you can do either if you're with the Forest Service or you're with a cultural resource management company, like I used to work for.
Mhm.
Phase one is like survey, two is like test units, and then three is like a full scale excavation. Phase one, you just like I used to hike this military base in Wyoming all day for 8 hours a day, just like hiking systematically looking for stuff in like the woods, and like you mark it down and like uh just like survey, and it was like Oregon Trail stuff, but then
Oh,
paleo stuff, and then like
hmm.
yeah, like sometimes it was combined because you'd find a homestead where they had found arrowheads and like it was in their like
Oh,
refuse
wow,
pile.
that is super neat. I love
Yeah,
that.
but hiking and bushcraft is like a huge part of that and camping and stuff. So yeah,
Wow. Yeah,
well, I
that
mean, not you're not making stuff out of the bush, but you're in the woods. Yeah,
yeah, that's good enough for me.
yeah.
Oh, wow. Um, yeah, I know we have like it looks like we have like 4 minutes left on here. Unfortunately, I
Okay.
got a free version, but
Same.
Before you go, I wanted to show you this because I think it's something you'd like. Um, it's our old buddy Homo erectus.
Dude, that's my favorite hominid right there.
Dude,
Cool.
same.
Yeah,
That's my favorite. I think about him a lot.
nice. Yeah, we're all just kind of mutant Homo erectus. That's just kind of how we are. Yeah. Nice. Do you
Uh,
watch North 02 as well?
I do. I love North O2. He actually inspired me to go on this journey to college.
Yeah? Good.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Um,
Dane's a good dude.
yeah, I've
Yeah.
never met him, but oh, have you met North O2?
Yeah, I'm in a text group with him and like a bunch of other archaeology guys.
Dang, that's so
Like
cool.
yeah,
So
they're fun. He's really young. I think he's like 24 maybe.
oh, okay, yeah, we're like the same age. Yeah.
Cool.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'll tell him that he'd probably be happy to do this too. He's just doing the YouTubers. He's not an archaeologist though.
Yeah, he's got like a degree in business, I think, from
Yeah,
what
I think.
but oh yeah,
Um,
more hominin skulls. There's Sahelanthropus and
oh, you're all in, dude.
Artie, yeah.
Hell yeah. I don't even own one of those.
Yeah.
I just have dog skulls.
Oh, cool.
Yeah, they're in a box right now, but
Dogs, are they like replicas?
yeah, I have well, one's a replica, and then one's like I think it's a lab. It's just like from bone clones, but it's like a our skull's unlimited, but it's just like a defleshed, like full on dog skull. It's pretty cool.
That is cool. Nice.
Yeah, I just like bones.
Yeah, I think a lot of us do. Um,
Yeah, for sure.
for sure. All right. I was gonna bring up, yeah, the what is the oldest site with dog remains? You know?
Uh, Debated. There's some that are like possibly 32,000 years old in Russia. Um, but it's hard to tell if it's a dog or if it's a wolf. But like earliest, like genetically, like okay, this is a dog when I did the analysis is like 14,000. Yeah.
Oh
And in
wow.
the Americas, it's about 10,000 years old.
10th, where's that at?
Illinois, the Coster site. Yeah.
Illinois. Wow.
Yeah.
10,000 years old? Well, that's pretty darn cool.
Yeah, yeah, it's really cool, man. Um, so it's debated if dogs came here with the initial paleo migrations or not, but they did come from Siberia at some point. So like they were coming from because dogs originate there and then kind of radiate to
Yeah.
Eurasia and then to the Americas.
Yeah, do you
Um,
think it like happened like much earlier? Like, well, I guess this goes with the question of how long do you think humans have been in North America for?
yeah, also debated. I'm more open to later dates than I'd think most like hardcore Clovis archaeologists are. But like just from pure experience, like digging and like sticking holes in the ground,
Yeah.
it seems to be like right about 15 is like the cap for like there's nothing else past that in most of the country. Alaska's a different story.
Hmm.
Um, but a lot of the sites that come out like at like all over the country and they like post that this is a pre-Clovis site, it's very like you gotta like squint your eye and like really read the paper to be like, what is this a tool? You know? Whereas
Yeah.
like when you see Clovis, it's like it's a firm like this is a Paleolithic campsite.
Yeah.
So yeah. I don't know, but I'm always open to it. It that stuff's just endlessly fascinating to me.
Yeah, I agree. Unfortunately, we are at less than a minute left.
Oh shit.
Um,
Anytime, dude. Just shoot
yeah.
me an email. Yeah.
Okay. Hey, man, it was nice meeting you. I really appreciate your help. Thank you for taking your personal time to come and speak with me.
Yeah. Shoot me another email after this and I'll try to hook you up with Evan if you go to the Napin.
Yeah, yeah.
Cool.
All right. I will see ya.
All right, man. Thank you.
All right.
Take it
Keep on
easy.
keeping on. Yep.
You too. Good luck.